Hello and welcome back. So this is the second phase of this experiment. Remember I complained about my product having too long of a wait time before it absorbs into the skin. And I know that because it's a base cream, we want it to be very thick so that it can also take in a lot of oils and all of that. But most times it also affects the wait time of a product. So this was the first formulation I used. This formulation I didn't use acetyl alcohol. I used just stearic acid and wax, and it gave me an okay wait time. As you can see, it still takes a lot of time for it to absorb into the skin. You have to actually rub continuously before it absorbs, and that is what I'm trying to avoid today. So I'm going to go ahead to measure out my ingredients. Today's formulation, I'm going to be using emulsifying wax, 5% of my emulsifying wax in this formulation today. I always say for big formulations I like to use this scale, and then for small formulations I like to use this scale. Okay, so now you are a formulator, no longer an amateur. So you want to make sure you have the right tools, the right equipment, such as your beakers and your thermometer and your spatulas and distilled water and everything you need. Rubbing alcohol to spray your tools before you use. Okay, so let's go ahead to measure out our ingredients. Emulsifying wax, I'm going to be using 5%. I am making 100-gram worth of product. So I'm going to be using 5 grams. So 5 grams of emulsifying wax. I'm going to go ahead to measure out 3 grams, okay, which is 3% of cetyl alcohol. Now, if you look at my recipe book here, I have written out my formulation in phases. I have phase A, which is my oil phase. So all the ingredients have been listed. It's my oil phase. Three grams. Three grams. So my cetyl alcohol is used as a thickener and emollient. It has mild moisturizing properties, so it's also very good. And stearic acid is also a thickener, so most times using the two of them in a base cream can be a lot, to be honest. So that is why I'm trying this out today. I'm going to go ahead to measure out my almond oil. I'm using 17% of almond oil in my formulation today. I'm using almond oil because almond oil is generally a good oil for every skin type. So I'm also one of the most affordable carrier oils there. So 17 grams. That's more than 17, so I want to use my pipette. That's blocked. So that is 17 grams. And I'm going to be using 3%, which is 3 grams of my shea butter. I like to use shea butter in my formulation because it generally helps with repairing of skin and scars, and also great for stretch marks. So if you add 3 grams to 17 grams, please give you 20 grams. I think. Yeah. That is 20 grams of shea butter. So I'm gonna add this to my oil phase. This is my oil phase. All my oils and butter go into my oil phase. Now for my water phase, I'm very particular about something today. I don't want to lose water because when you double boil, you might lose some water when you double boil. So that's something I'm going to look out for. So I'm going to weigh this. Today I'm using for this experiment, I'm using 62 grams of water. So this is water. I'm going to measure out 62 grams of water. Distilled water or hydrosol, please. You can use rose water or distilled water. 62 grams. I'm leaving it at 64 because I believe that when I double boil, I'm going to lose some water. So I'm going to leave it at 64. Okay. And then I'm going to add my theophantomol. Theophantomol is a humectant in products. So I'm going to put in 2 grams of theophantomol. It's very gel-like, so you have to be very cautious of that. And then if you add 2 grams to, we had 65 when I checked, so that's 67. Should have at least 67, 68, that's fine. Glycerin is also a humectant and it goes in the water phase as well. So I'm going to be adding 2 grams of glycerin. Which is 2% of my formulation. That's 70 grams. Okay. So the last thing on my list here is phenoxyethanol, which is my preservative, and it's going to come down in the, it's going to come in the cool down phase. Okay, so this is my oil phase and this is my water phase. Okay, so I'm gonna go heat this up to between 70 to 80 degrees Celsius, and then I'll come back to show you.
Oh, it's not say no, sorry, we say we tried your DM. The people are angry. Thank God, I'm so happy. Thank God, though. Hey, By 40,000 naira, I check the exchange rate is 40. If I change my mind, this exchange rate will continue like this.
The exchange rate is favorable for people that are
Change my mind. If it's going to make people suffer, I beg. Because seriously, it's not what we're saying about
things going on. Yeah. So this is going to be oil in water emulsion. So I'm going to gradually put in my oil to my water. And as you can see, it has formed an emulsion, and it's really, really hot because it's at, let's see the temperature. Sure. So our cream is about 60 degrees Celsius, and so we're going to allow it cool down to at least 40 degrees Celsius before we put in our preservative, because our preservative is in the cool down phase of our formulation. So we're going to let it just cool. It looks watery, but that's okay. When it cools down, it will thicken, then you'll see the end result. So this is our base cream after it has cooled. Let's go ahead to stir, just so you can see what it looks like. So this is our formulation after blending, and as you can see, it has a very, very thin consistency. So you might want to increase your cetyl alcohol to about 4 or 5% as well. But I really, really do like this texture. You can use xanthe gum as well to thicken this up. But remember, cetyl alcohol is the thickener here, so you can increase your cetyl alcohol. So let's see how this is, because wait time is the reason why I'm carrying out this experiment. So as you can see, it is more like of a lotion form, and just look at that. The wait time is not as much as the other one. Yeah, so this will be suitable for more like a you can use this recipe and include your lotion and all of that, your oils and powders, but make sure you increase your cetyl alcohol and reduce your water, and you have a nice consistency. And for this, as you can see, is much more thicker, and so when you want to make a formulation, you will know whichever one you want or suits your formulation best. So this kind of cream can hold more oils and more of all of that. This is just e-wax and stearic acid, whereas this is e-wax and just cetyl alcohol. So nice consistency. Only thing is you need to increase your cetyl alcohol so it's a little bit thicker, and reduce your water. Okay, so yeah, that concludes our video this evening. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video. So what I did was I went ahead to because it was really light, the consistency, it has a very good absorption, but I just need to be a little bit thicker because it's too runny. And so I went to heat up 3 grams of 3 grams of cetyl alcohol, and I'm going to add it to my formulation. Sorry, stearic acid. So I'm going to add it to my formulation and then see how it goes. Remember, they have to be at equal temperature. So I am going to warm this up a bit, and it's going to evaporate a little. So at least I'm going to use about 3 grams, just so that that makes up for this. So as you can see, this is already thickening up because the temperature is cooling, but this is actually at room temperature, and this isn't just yet. So I'm going to heat this up so that they are at the same temperature level, so that they're compatible, because I can't pour this directly into this. This is way too hot. This is about, let's see, temperature. So this is about 35, so gradually going up to 35, if not up to 40, because it's cooling down now. And this is definitely going to drop because it is cold. So as you can see, it's dropping. Because it's cold, it's at room temperature. So I'm going to wait for this to cool, or I'm going to heat this up so that they're at the same temperature, but I think I'd rather heat this up and have them at the same temperature. So I added the stearic acid, and this is the consistency I'm having. As you can see, it's still moisturizing, but much more thicker, and so it can still take in some concentrates and oils. But in this kind of formulation, you want to limit your oils to about or your additives to about 30% in this formulation. So knowing the consistency of your base will determine the amount of liquids and extracts you want to add into it.